Hi there, I'm Nora, your virtual guide to Norce Commerce. Today, we're going to create a new campaign price list in Norce Commerce. Whether you're preparing for a seasonal promotion or a temporary sales event, this tutorial will help you get your campaign pricing in place quickly and accurately. Start with going into the price list module under Pricing and click New. Set a name for the campaign, or you can also write in a code or let Norce create a name for you. The code is actually used as an identifier for the campaign to other systems, so it might be important to get it right. Let's call this one Autumn Campaign for now, and do not forget the description. A good common practice is to write something explanatory here, to make sure that everyone else in your team knows what kind of price list this is. In my case, this is my seasonal campaign. Choose the currency that you want to use. You will only see a short list here, depending on the currencies you have activated on the client. For a campaign, this should obviously be the currency for your application. For campaign price list, you'll almost certainly want a parent price list where you inherit price information. Usually, you want to make dynamic pricing rule for a campaign, and you need to inherit standard prices from somewhere, and that is this price list. Next, there is the sales area. Choose the one that the campaign is for here, usually the same as the parent price list. The sales area is used by Norce when we calculate rounding and make sure that there are nice prices for our campaign. You can also choose a price list type here, but that is optional. We leave that out for this tutorial. Next, there is the start and end date. You can plan ahead when working with campaigns. Here we set a start date forward a week or so, and we can even set an exact time. For end date, we want it to be active until the last of November at 11 p.m. There is also some checkboxes here. This is a campaign that is open for all and every visitor to our application. In this example, we check public and maybe also favorite. This is just a way to tell Norce that I want this in the shortlist, and it makes it easier to work with it on the product page later on. I leave the virtual and primary unchecked. More on them in other tutorials. Before we finish up this first step, we also get to fill in the default price rule for campaign prices. It's most commonly the standard price methods you want to use. There are two of them, one that takes a percentage and one that takes a fixed discount in the currency we chose earlier. The difference here is that if you use fixed discount, no rounding rules will be applied, and that might be something you want to do intentionally sometimes. But in my case, I just want to work with percent discount and I will set the rebate to 10. I can also have a fallback here and make sure that I'm not giving away stuff. If I have cost information on my products, I can put in a minimum product margin, which is very cool. Let's say that I always want at least 5% margin on my products. I'll leave the charges out for now, since they are not needed in our case. Inherit structure calculation and limit to recommended price is also options we leave for now. I'll finish then on this step, and I will press save. And right away I get more tabs here on my prices. Let's switch to the warehouse tab now. We will talk more about this in another tutorial, but here, it is suffice to say that you should have at least one connected warehouse here. If uncertain for a campaign price list, this should be same as their parent price list. Next tab, supplier price list, is not important to us. The population tab is interesting for us in our campaign. This decides which products that should be included into the campaign. First, we decide which population rule type we want to use. Default is an exclusion type, which means that by default, no products are included to our campaign. And we must choose by setting up rules below what should be included. In other tutorials, we will see other scenarios where we instead want to start with an include population rule type and use the below rules to exclude products based on specific categories, manufacturers, or flags. In this scenario, we look at the parent price list and set up rules for what we want to include from it to our campaign. So here's our choices. Let's include some flags and a couple of categories. But for the last category here, we choose to include only the products from some manufacturers. I can also set something called required supplier, which is important for some of our retail customers, but not something we use in this example. I need to save first before going to the next tab, the pricing tab. Here we see our default price rule that we set up earlier, and below I can add more price rules. Let's add a rule here for everything under the category shirts. We should, instead of having 10% discount, have 20%. We can continue here, adding more rules if we need, but I am happy with what we got. If I save, the rules will reorder in the priority they are used. The first one is used in the price calculation, if possible. Otherwise, we move down to the next, and so forth. The last one is the default price rule on top of the tab. The priority here is decided on the granularity of the rule. Flags are higher priority than categories, which are higher than manufacturers. And combinations are higher than rules with only one. Categories that are hierarchical are also prioritized, where a leaf is higher priority than a branch or a root. And with this, we are ready to check on the result. How will this campaign look? So, automatically, Norce Commerce will work behind the scenes and populate this price list with price information and calculate new prices from our new rebates. After a short time, we should be able to see the change on products here in the admin tool. Let's filter on this campaign and see if there are any products already ready with a new price. On this product, we get the rebate from the standard price rule, but here we get one of the specific rules. We can also see that the price list is calculated but not yet used. The start date is red until next week when it will be automatically activated. That wraps up this video on creating a new campaign price list. I hope you found it useful. Be sure to check out our other tutorials.